James Twin for the untouchable true school sports. Let's go, baby. Bow!
Be careful what you wish for because it can become a reality.
Yeah. The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing games are missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. All right, so I wanted to come here right quick and just give my quick thoughts on the fight that I was really the most excited about for this week, which was the fight between Pistol Pete Dobson and Jalil Hackett. It was the co-main event on the Jalil Ennis David Avanesian card. It was the 8th or 9th professional fight for Jalil Hackett in his career. I thought it was a pretty good step up in class for him, considering that Pete Dobson's been a professional fighter for 10 years. You know, been in camp with guys like Jalil Ennis, Terrence Crawford, Adrian Broner, just fought Conor Benn. Has actually beaten some guys multiple times as the B-side in fights. So it was gonna be we were gonna learn a lot about Jalil Hackett in this fight, and I'll be honest with you, like Jalil had a good solid workmanlike performance. He got the victory. He passed his first professional test in the sport of boxing with pretty well. I wouldn't say flying colors, but pretty well. And you know, just like look, from what I've seen in the fight, I think Jalil Hackett does have some defensive issues he's got to clean up. I think a fighter who would have thrown, been more of a volume puncher, maybe kept that jab in his face a bit more, probably could have given him some more resistance and problems. The problem with Pete Dobson is, and I'm just gonna be honest, because Pete is my friend. I like Pete. I'm making no secrets. I'm a Pete Dobson fan. We're close, and I got a lot of love for Pete because I've seen his career from 2020 to now. I've covered his career pretty closely from 2020 to now. So I'm happy that Pete's in a position where, even though he's lost 2 fights in a row, they're notable fights. His profile in the sport is growing, and he's made better money for himself. That's great. God bless him and his son and his family. I hope he continue to get more paydays, honestly. But from a boxing standpoint, like in the ring, Pete, when you watch him fight Conor Benn, and particularly this fight, probably more even than the Conor Benn fight, when you watch him fight, you see a guy that has the capabilities to win more rounds than he's winning. You see the jab. You'll see like the counter punching at times. You'll see him get on the inside and land really good body shots. But the problem with Pete is his work rate or lack thereof. He's not letting his hands go. And my honest opinion of why that is because I just think, like, look, boxing, this sport is the ultimate truth teller, right? So if you're not doing the correct things outside the ring, and preparing for fights, you know, over the years, like it all adds up. Boxing is very cumulative, you know. It's very much like, you know, all the things that you do over the years, they always add up and they always show in the ring. Maybe not in certain fights, but down the line, if you weren't making weight properly, if you weren't getting your rest, if you weren't getting your recovery in 4 or 5 years ago, it'll show up 5 years down the line, 4 years down the line. It always shows up. And so when I watch him fight now, I see a guy who's capable of beating a lot of guys, but just he hasn't lived the life of a fighter as far as like taking care of himself consistently to be that guy. Because I'll be real, Pete's had 3 fights since his career best performance against Jose Miguel Borrego was the first ever Pro Box card in 2022. I was there. In that fight, that was the Pete Dobson that, you know, I thought could have really beaten some names in the sport. He let his hands go. He was in shape. He was a boxer at times, a volume puncher at times, a slugger at times. But since that fight, you know, he's never really recaptured that form. Still looks good in spots, but that's the problem. He's fighting in spots, and that's why I think Jalil Hackett was able to win a lot of the rounds. I don't think Jalil, like, and I'm not trying to take nothing from Jalil. I'm just telling you what I saw. Like, Jalil is I think he still got development, and I think he will develop from this fight. I think Jalil is gonna improve, because 10 rounds with a good solid professional like Pete Dobson in your 8th or 9th pro fight, that will improve you. But in my opinion, just from watching the fight was really more about Pete Dobson's lack of pace. Because even think about it, if you watch the fight, in the back half of the fight when Pete Dobson caught his second win and he started actually throwing some punches with some bad intent and would put the odd 3-4 punch combination together, Jalil Hackett had problems, and Pete was able to actually win some rounds on the stretch. That's why one of the judges had the card One of the cards was like 96, 94, Jalil Hackett. So he was in the fight. He was winning rounds, but he had long stretches of time where he just wasn't throwing the kind of punches he needs to beat this kid up and whatnot. So it's I'm sure, look, when Pete watches the fight, more so than Conor Ben, I think this fight he'll look at it and he'll say, you know what? That's the one I should have won. You know, and it is what it is. It's boxing is the ultimate truth teller of a sport. You can lie to yourself, you can lie to even your coaches, but you can't lie to that boxing ring. That boxing ring tells all. So I just think Pete Dobson, and I'm just being honest, I think the boxing and the business and life, all these things got to him, and he didn't really train over the years the way he should be training to win fights of like the Conor Ben or even the Jalil Hackett magnitude. So it is what it is. As far as for Jalil, I'm looking forward to see how he develops. Now that he's beating a guy like Pete Dobson in his 8th, 9th fight, I think matchmaking is going to be very interesting to see. Like, it'll be really intriguing to watch how Matchroom moves from now. Because now that he's beating a guy that's fought Conor Ben and, 10-year professional who had a good 16-1 record coming into the fight, I'm not so sure how much of a far of a step back he can take. I think he needs those steps back, though. I think he actually needs to step it down a little bit from Pete Dobson, that level, and even go further down and probably take 2 or 3 development fights. Because I'm telling you, Jalil is a strong kid. He's got good inside fighting skills for a tall fighter. But there's just some things that if he don't clean them up and they step him up any more in class, I do think it'll be very much to his detriment. But we'll see how it goes. I'm sure he'll watch the fight and find things to improve, and I don't got nothing against him. Truth be told, I've heard his name throughout the years in the boxing community. Never really watched him or paid much attention to him until this fight got signed. So this is my first impression of him. And I think there's potential there. I just think he's got to, like any other fighter, work out the kinks and be given some time to develop. But Matchroom Boxing, and I got a love for the fine folks at Matchroom Boxing, Eddie Hearn, and Kevin Rooney and whatnot. I got love for Matchroom Boxing, but they do have a history of at times putting their younger guys in fights that they can't win, and a lot of their prospects get knocked off earlier than they should. So that's why I'm bringing this up, because they have a history of that. But nonetheless, that's my thoughts on Pete Dobson and Jalil Hackett. Shout out to Pete Dobson for at least putting on a good fight. I'm sure people want to see him fight again. Still hasn't been stopped. Still durable. He ain't no punk. He's still a fighting part of the Bronx. I like Pete, and I want to see him do good. And I just think sometimes, just personally as his friend, I think sometimes he sells himself short with the way he just doesn't train properly. But that's just me. That's my opinion. Shout out to him. Shout out to his family, his son. Shout out to Jalil Hackett. Like I say in every single one of these videos, man, you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Daniel. So until next time, take care. Thank you for watching another video on the untouchable True School Sports Empire. I'm at the Boxing Hall of Fame out here in Canterbury, New York. And for more great boxing content just like this video, make sure you click and subscribe right over here.